Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video, and I apologize in the previous video I uploaded where we were going through all the story battles of Harak. Even though I opened up his page, I didn't realize you could click from full to light version of the skill description and you could get a brief skill description of each skill. So we tried to kind of reverse engineer and figure out what the skills did, but now we actually have the text. So I want to go through them because one of them is really important, and this is the thing which is going to make him potentially a top tier Dream Realm hero as well. So it is his ultimate. So his ultimate ability, Harak, I'm going to show it on the screen, is called Vicious Bite. And now, you know from Phraesto's kit, his HP per second damage for Phraesto is called Vicious Sting, right? Okay, so Vicious Bite of Harak. The description is Harak viciously strikes an enemy, and we know that it attacks 10 times in the ultimate animation, dealing continuous damage and preventing them from recovering HP. Now, recovering HP doesn't matter for Dream Realm bosses, they don't have healing sources. However, dealing continuous damage. Now let's jump back over to the game here. We have Phraesto. Phraesto's skill description for his Vicious Sting attack is also making them lose HP constantly. And Harak is dealing continuous damage. Phraesto is making them lose HP constantly, and from actually the animation of what plays out, you see bleed marks basically going off on the hero. So it sounds like it could be HP per second damage. The wording is not exactly the same. Like, Phraesto says make them lose HP constantly, and Harak is deal continuous damage. So, but we don't know, and I mean, if it is HP per second damage from his ultimate, then that is going to make him potentially a good option for Dream Realm. But let's go ahead through the rest of his skills. Now, Tidal Assault, this is the one where he burrows underground and then jumps back up. And he will actually target the weakest enemy, but then only dealing damage and knocking them into the air. So I thought it was maybe an area of effect like in a one-tile radius attack, but it seems like only onto the weakest enemy. And for Dream Realm, this is not useful. This is a PvP type ability to become like untargetable and also prioritize the weakest enemy. And position yourself in a way that you're right next to adjacent to the weak enemies. Okay, now the other one is Flesh Feast. This is his skill 2. It is Harak enters feast mode when a battle starts. So this is, he applies a buff. We saw it was a crit buff and a haste buff, significantly enhancing his combat abilities. They don't say exactly what buffs are here, but we saw it from the animations earlier. Assisting or defeating a unit resets the duration of feast mode. Okay, so in Dream Realm, this is not useful. You're not going to be, well, I mean, maybe Skyclaws, so like for example, there are summons and that would be considered a unit, but for the most part, you're not going to be resetting this buff, and that's kind of a weakness for Dream Realm. But however, for PvP, if he can get kills, it's strong. Upon exiting Feast Mode, Harak loses control and indiscriminately devours a non-summoned unit. This is the crazy thing, and this is the thing we don't know, again, from this brief description. Does it mean enemy unit? Because it just says loses control and indiscriminately, so without control, basically randomly almost, devours a non-summoned unit. Now, this is the problem, because it says loses control. We're thinking this could maybe even eat your own units. If it eats your own units, it might not be good, but however people thought it's actually good. It's fine if he eats Mikola in Dream Realm, for example, because we've seen that interaction play out from the Primal Lord, the Crazed Shellbrute. When the Crazed Shellbrute eats Mikola, her curse fear is still proccing because it's unaffected in duration. And also, we don't know, what does this mean? What does devour mean? Are they dead? Or are they just inside of his belly like the Crazed Shellbrute? It's confusing. But this is the thing which, again, we're going to have to get more description and break it down before we can make like an assessment of how good is he actually going to be for Dream Realm. Okay, his hero focus unfortunately is not looking good. I don't like it. It only increases his life drain during battle and additional gains upon assisting or defeating enemies. So life drain is not useful for Dream Realm. You're not at any risk of dying. You just want damage, you want attack and things like that. However, I mean, it all comes down to, is his ultimate ability going to be HP per second damage? And if it is, what is the multiplier? What is the attack cap that is going to have? Because the thing is, if only your ultimate ability is going to be proccing the HP per second damage, then it has to have a high multiplier, because you're not going to be charging up and casting many ultimates over the course of the fight, as compared to like Phraesto. Every time his skill comes off cooldown, he's able to cast his Vicious Sting. Okay, Ravenous Digestion. This is the Mythic Plus of Harak. Harak increases attack and max HP when assisting or defeating a unit. Again, this is not good for Dream Realm, other than the bosses that have summons. So maybe like if Plague Creeper is added into the boss lineup, or for Skyclops, maybe you could get value here. But overall, this is not looking generally good for Dream Realm. Attack and HP, but for PvP, of course, this would be great. And then finally, his Enhanced Force. Upon assisting or defeating a certain number of units, Harak recovers energy from casting Vicious Bite. This is going to be, I have a feeling maybe Plague Creeper is probably going to be added to the boss lineup. And then he's going to be probably a meta hero for that, because he's going to kill enough units, he's going to trigger his Vicious Bite, he's going to get all of his stacks from his Mythic Plus for killing units. It's just that Skyclops is the only other summoning boss we have, so maybe he could be useful there. But until we get Plague Creeper, I think it would only be Skyclops potentially, unless his multipliers are just through the roof on his ultimate ability. So it will come down to the multipliers on his ultimate ability, the HP per second damage. And now just let's take a look back to Phraesto. So Phraesto, he has the 2 heroes you're getting for the price of 1. They're both going to have, so basically Phraesto's Vicious Sting is it's capped at 40% of his attack. However, you have 2 heroes, so basically 80% of his attack. And it's on an 11-second cooldown, and with a bunch of haste from like Mikul and Shakir, which you're going to be granting him, this goes down to basically a 6-second or lower cooldown, and it is going to be active for 6 seconds, this HP per second damage effect. So it will come down to Harak. Will he be, what will his multiplier be on his damage? Is it HP per second damage? If it's not HP per second damage, it's just game over from that point. He will not be good in Dream Realm. If it is HP per second damage, then his attack multiplier or cap will have to be high enough, because it's going to be an ultimate ability. There's only going to be 1 hero there. He might even begin devouring your own heroes, which there are situations that it can be good. But the problem is, if it's randomness, then it's like, if he randomly will devour something, then that's a problem. If he will devour like the nearest closest ally, then you can try and like position your team to force him to devour the same hero each time. Also, we don't know what is the cooldown of that. If we take a look back at the of his Flesh Feast, we don't know when basically his buffs are going to wear off. From the battles that we did, I tried to delay as long as possible, and in the first, like, I think 20 seconds, his buff did not wear off, and he didn't have to cast his ability. So anyway, guys, this is the more, like, we have actually the brief skill descriptions, which I forgot to check in the previous video, because I didn't know that these were actually going to be shown. I thought everything was going to be hidden, but I guess you could look at the light version of the skill descriptions. So overall, now things are going to be up in the air until we actually see his skill breakdown and his multipliers, if he is going to be a good boss here for Dream Realm bosses, and also his Flesh Feast. We need to know, is there going to be targeting for the indiscriminate devour, or is it just completely random and it can even devour your own allies randomly? That is going to be a problem. But this is the thing to watch now. So you can't rule him out as a Dream Realm damage dealer, but definitely he's going to be good in PvP regardless. But it's just a question of Dream Realm. And I feel like even if he does have HP per second damage, you're probably still going to run Phraesto, because the advantage of Phraesto is like you have the 2 bodies dealing that HP per second damage. I think if Harak was good, he probably would just like replace maybe Shakir in teams or Rainier in teams and just keep running like the Phraesto and Harak together. But there might be some cases where Phraesto will be replaced with Harak, some bosses. But Yeah, so it looks like it's not a fully skippable hero, basically. It's a hero that maybe we're all gonna have to invest into. It just depends all on his ultimate ability. Because Dreamwell is important. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts about Harak in the comment section down below. But I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now, and thank you for watching.